Did you know that over 10 million people watch gardening videos on YouTube every single day? Imagine cooling down your garden for just $5. In this video, we'll show you how to create a DIY garden misting system that's both budget-friendly and incredibly effective. Stay tuned to learn how you can beat the summer heat without breaking the bank. Hey there, garden lovers. Welcome back to my channel. Today, I'm going to show you how to beat the summer heat and keep your plants thriving with an easy and affordable DIY garden misting system. All for just $5. This project is super simple, budget-friendly, and perfect for any garden. Let's dive in. Part 1. Materials you'll need. First, let's gather everything you'll need. You can find these items at your local hardware store, or maybe even around your home. A standard plastic soda bottle, 1 or 2 liters, this will act as the main body of your misting system. Make sure it's clean and dry before you start. A hose-to-bottle adapter. These adapters are inexpensive and can often be found in the plumbing section of hardware stores or online. They allow you to connect a standard garden hose to the bottle. A garden hose. Any standard hose will work for this project. If you're using a shorter hose, it's easier to control the water pressure. A thumbtack or small nail. This will be used to poke tiny holes in the soda bottle to create the misting effect. If you have a needle, that works well too. Teflon tape. Optional, use this to ensure a watertight seal between the bottle and the adapter. While not mandatory, it's great for preventing leaks. Twine or zip ties. Optional, these can help secure the bottle in place when setting it up in your garden. A small drill, optional if you want more precise holes for the mist. A small drill bit can replace the thumbtack. Post. And that's it. Simple, right? If you already have some of these items at home, this project might cost you even less than $5. Now let's move on to assembling the system. Part 2. Assembling the misting system. Step 1. Prep the bottle. Take your soda bottle and use a thumbtack or small nail to poke tiny holes around the upper part of the bottle. These will act as your misting nozzles. The smaller the holes, the finer the mist. Step 2. Attach the adapter next. Screw the hose-to-bottle adapter onto the mouth of the bottle. If it feels loose, wrap some Teflon tape around the bottle threads to ensure a snug fit. Step 3. Connect to the hose now. Connect your garden hose to the adapter. Make sure everything is secure so there are no leaks. Assembling a misting system can be a great way to cool down outdoor spaces or create a refreshing atmosphere in hot weather. Below are the key steps for assembling a misting system. Materials needed. Misting nozzles. These create the fine mist. Choose nozzles based on the area you want to cover. Misting tubing, flexible tubing used to connect the nozzles and the water source. Misting pump or water source. A pump is needed for high-pressure systems. For low-pressure systems, tap water can suffice. Fittings and connectors to attach the nozzles to the tubing and connect everything together. Water filtration system, optional but recommended. Helps ensure that the misting system is not clogged by sediment or debris. Pressure regulator, especially important for high-pressure misting systems to avoid overpressurizing the system. Teflon tape to seal connections and prevent leaks. Drip tray or basin, optional. If you want to catch any excess water dripping from the nozzles. Step-by-step instructions. Plan the layout. Decide where you want to install the misting nozzles. This could be along a patio, in a garden, or on a terrace. Map out the path of the misting tubing to ensure an even coverage area. Use a measuring tape to mark the spacing for each nozzle. Install misting nozzles. Attach each misting nozzle to the tubing using appropriate fittings. Depending on your nozzle design, you may need to use a connector or clamp. If you're setting up multiple nozzles, you might need T-connectors to branch off the tubing. Connect the tubing. Lay the misting tubing along the predetermined path. Cut the tubing to the desired length using scissors or a pipe cutter. Use fittings to connect the tubing to the water pump or the water source. If you're using a high-pressure system, make sure all connectors are tightly sealed with Teflon tape. Install the water pump or connect to the water supply. For high-pressure systems, install the pump and connect it to the misting tubing. The pump should be rated for the flow rate and pressure needed for your nozzles. For low-pressure systems, simply connect the tubing directly to your outdoor faucet. pressure regulator and filtration if necessary. If using a high-pressure system, install the pressure regulator to control water flow to the nozzles. Set it to the recommended pressure for your specific misting nozzles. If you're concerned about mineral deposits or impurities, install a water filter to prevent clogging. Test the system. Once everything is connected, turn on the water to test the system. Check for leaks in the connections and ensure that water is coming out as a fine mist. Adjust the nozzles if needed to get the best coverage and distribution. Maintenance. Clean the nozzles and tubing regularly to avoid clogs. You can use vinegar to remove mineral buildup. Check the pressure regularly if using a high-pressure system and replace any worn-out parts as needed. Tips. Ensure the nozzles are placed at a height where the mist can spread across the intended area. If you're installing a misting system in an area with a lot of dust, consider using a filter to keep the system clean. You may want to add a timer or automation system to turn the misting system on and off based on time or temperature. By following these steps, you can assemble an efficient and functional misting system that will cool your outdoor space and create a pleasant environment. Part 3. Installing the misting system. Once your bottle is ready, place it in your garden. You can hang it from a fence or stake it into the ground. Position it where your plants need the most cooling. Now, turn on the hose and watch your DIY misting system come to life. Installing a misting system involves several key steps to ensure it functions effectively, providing cooling and moisture to the surrounding area. Below is a detailed guide to help you through the process of installing a misting system. 1. Plan the layout. Assess the area. Before installing the misting system, identify the space that needs cooling, such as patios, gardens, or other outdoor areas. Measure the dimensions of the area to determine how many misting nozzles you will need. Select misting system type. There are two main types of misting systems. High-pressure misting systems. These systems use higher water pressure, typically 1,000 to 1,500 psi, and create fine mist that cools the air effectively. Low-pressure misting systems. These are easier to install and use lower water pressure, 100 to 200 psi, but the mist may not be as fine. Water supply source. Locate a nearby water supply that can be used to feed the system. Make sure that the water pressure is compatible with the misting system you plan to install. 2. Gather the materials and tools. Misting nozzles. These will be placed around the area to emit the fine mist. Choose high-quality nozzles that suit your system's pressure level. Water pump. If needed for high-pressure systems, a water pump may be necessary to increase the water pressure. Tubing. Flexible pipes or tubes will carry water from the source to the nozzles. Fittings and adapters. These are used to connect the tubing and nozzles securely. Timer. Optional, a timer can be installed to automate the misting cycle, reducing the need for manual control. Tools. Pipe cutters, pliers, a wrench, a drill, and a screwdriver. Filter. A filter helps prevent debris from clogging the misting nozzles. 3. Install the water supply line. Connect to the water source. Depending on your system, either connect the tubing directly to a garden faucet or install a water pump. If using a pump, ensure it is properly connected to the water source and power supply. Install a pressure regulator. If needed for high-pressure systems, install a pressure regulator to ensure the pressure stays within the recommended range. 4. Position the misting nozzles. Install nozzles on mounting brackets. Attach the nozzles to the desired location, typically along the edge of the area you want to mist. For example, if you're misting a patio, place the nozzles on the edges or on a mounted pipe above the patio area. Spacing. Make sure the nozzles are spaced evenly for uniform mist coverage. Typically, nozzles are placed around 3 to 4 feet apart, but this will depend on the specific type of nozzles and the area's size. Angle. Ensure that the nozzles are angled downward to distribute the mist more evenly and prevent excessive water accumulation in one spot. 5. Connect tubing. Run tubing to the nozzles. Connect the tubing from the water source to the misting nozzles. Use the necessary fittings and adapters to secure the tubing at each nozzle. Cut tubing to length. If necessary, cut the tubing to the appropriate length for your setup. Ensure leak-free connections. Use Teflon tape or clamps to ensure that all connections are tight and secure, preventing leaks. 6. Test the system. Turn on the water supply. Once everything is connected, turn on the water supply and test the misting system. Ensure that each nozzle is misting properly, with no leaks in the tubing. Adjust nozzles. If needed, adjust the nozzles to ensure even mist coverage. If there are any clogging issues, clean or replace the nozzles as necessary. 7. Optional enhancements. Add a timer. For convenience, set up a timer to control when the misting system operates. This is especially useful for daily or automated use. Install filters. If you're using well water or water with a lot of minerals, it may be helpful to install a filter to avoid clogging the misting nozzles. Adjust pressure. If the mist is too heavy or not fine enough, adjust the pressure using a regulator or pump until the mist is fine and effective. 8. Maintenance tips. Clean nozzles regularly. Over time, mineral deposits or debris can clog the nozzles. Clean them every few weeks or as needed to maintain optimal performance. Winterize the system. If your area experiences freezing temperatures, make sure to drain the system before winter to prevent damage to the pipes and nozzles. By following these steps, you'll have a properly installed misting system that can provide cooling and comfort during hot weather, while being easy to maintain and operate. Part 4. Tips and tricks. Here are a few tips to make the most out of your misting system. Use multiple bottles for larger gardens. Adjust water pressure for finer or heavier mist. Clean the bottle regularly to prevent clogging. And there you have it. A simple, effective, and affordable way to keep your garden cool and happy. Here are some general tips and tricks across various topics that can be helpful in daily life, work, or personal development. Productivity tips. The Pomodoro technique. Break your work into intervals, usually 25 minutes, separated by short breaks. This helps improve focus and prevents burnout. Use task lists and prioritization. Write down tasks every day and prioritize them using methods like the Eisenhower matrix, urgent versus important. Eliminate distractions. Turn off notifications, close unnecessary browser tabs, and designate a quiet workspace to increase focus. Batch similar tasks. Group similar tasks together to minimize the need to shift your focus, like responding to emails in bulk or scheduling meetings all at once. Time management tips. Set boundaries. Learn to say no to tasks or requests that aren't aligned with your goals or priorities. Time blocking. Allocate specific time slots for specific activities to keep your day organized. Automate. Use apps and tools to automate repetitive tasks, such as bill payments, reminders, or social media posts. Delegate. Whenever possible, delegate tasks that can be handled by someone else to free up your time for higher priority tasks. Study/learning tips. Active recall. Instead of just reading or listening, actively quiz yourself on the material to retain information better. Spaced repetition. Revisit material over increasing intervals like 1 day, 3 days, 7 days, etc. to boost long-term retention. Mind mapping. Create visual diagrams to connect ideas and concepts. This helps with brainstorming and improving understanding. Teach others. Explaining what you've learned to others is a great way to reinforce your understanding and solidify the information. Health and well-being tips. Sleep hygiene. Stick to a consistent sleep schedule, create a relaxing bedtime routine, and minimize screen time before bed. Exercise regularly. Incorporate movement into your day, whether it's a workout, a walk, or stretching to boost energy and reduce stress. Hydrate. Drink plenty of water throughout the day. Staying hydrated is key to maintaining physical and mental well-being. Practice mindfulness. Take a few moments each day to breathe deeply and clear your mind to improve focus, reduce stress, and enhance emotional health. Financial tips. Budgeting. Use a budgeting app to track expenses and set realistic savings goals. The 50/30/20 rule is a good guide. 50% for needs, 30% for wants, 20% for savings. Emergency fund. Set aside a portion of your income for unexpected expenses. Aim for at least 3 to 6 months worth of living expenses. Investing. Consider long-term investments, such as index funds or stocks, but always do your research and consider your risk tolerance. Avoid lifestyle inflation. As your income grows, try not to automatically increase your spending. Instead, save or invest the extra income. Technology tips. Shortcuts and hotkeys. Learn the keyboard shortcut programs and devices you use most. This saves time and increases efficiency. Cloud storage. Use cloud storage, Google Drive, Dropbox, etc. to keep your files accessible from any device and ensure they're backed up. Regular backups. Regularly back up your data to avoid losing important files due to device failure or accidents. Use password managers. Instead of trying to remember multiple complex passwords, use a password manager to securely store and autofill login credentials. Social and communication tips. Active listening. Focus fully on the speaker, avoid interrupting, and ask follow-up questions to show engagement. Body language. Pay attention to your body language. Eye contact, posture, and facial expressions communicate just as much as words. Clear and concise communication. Whether in writing or speech, aim to be direct and to the point to avoid misunderstandings. Empathy. Be aware of others' feelings and perspectives, which helps in building strong relationships and resolving conflicts peacefully. These tips and tricks can help optimize various aspects of life, improve productivity, and lead to a healthier, more balanced lifestyle. If you're looking for specific tips for a certain area or challenge, feel free to ask. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel for more DIY garden tips, and let me know in the comments if you try this